I started, Jackie. Yes.
Okay, okay. So as Rajesh has already give introduction about, first I will going to discuss about the agenda. So basically we will see like what is Anypoint CLI, how can you set up Anypoint CLI on your machine. Then we will try to run a live demonstration on Anypoint CLI. Then we will go through some like ARM, Anypoint Runtime Manager API. Then we will see a live demonstration on ARM service. Then it will follow with like API Manager API, like Anypoint API Manager REST API. Then live demonstration on that. Then we will also see some Cloud Hub API and live demonstration on the same. Later, we will also take few use cases where we can do a complete automation basically. So we will going to run those automation also, it will automatically deploy the application and apply the policy and get the application information. Like apart from that, like we will also walk through the script which I prepare for setting up complete platform like VPC, dedicated load balancers and all those things. Okay. So let me go to a first slide. So basically, what is Anypoint CLI? So Anypoint CLI is nothing. It's a utility. It's a command line interface provided by MuleSoft to interact with the various Anypoint platform component or like on-premise Mule runtime. So it is one of the powerful command line interface provided by MuleSoft. So basically, Anypoint CLI can interact with runtime manager component, a design center component, Anypoint VPC, Anypoint dedicated load balancer, access management, and API manager. So when it comes to runtime manager, so Anypoint CLI is capable of deploying your application to cloud hub, to on-premise, on cluster, on server group. Okay, apart from that, it is also capable of getting the status of your application, whether the application is up and running or down. It is also capable of downloading the logs of your application automatically. Design center, so basically, like uh, it is also capable of creating API specification for importing or exporting your YAML. No? So, or if you want to like import your or export your YAML into Design Center, you can make use of your Anypoint CLI command line interface, Anypoint VPC. So, it is also capable of managing your Anypoint VPC and dedicated load balancer. So basically, you can create a VPC, you can add firewall rules, you can add mapping rules, you can perform any operation on your VPC, using Anypoint CLI. You can create a dedicated load balancer, you can update certificates, you can enable or disable dedicated load balancer. So various operation you can perform on Anypoint CLI using, sorry, on Anypoint dedicated load balancer using Anypoint CLI access management. So basically, you can create users, you can create roles, you can assign users, you can assign roles. All such kind of things can be performed by Anypoint CLI. API manager. So when it comes to API manager, so basically you can write alerts, API manager alerts. You can apply the policies. You can remove any API. You can publish the API. All such kind of things can be performed by Anypoint CLI. So the other thing, like why Anypoint CLI, why we require Anypoint CLI. So basically, let's consider like we have a various DevOps tool like Jenkins, we have a Windows Azure, So for deploying purpose, what we are doing, we are using the Mule Maven plugin. We are configuring a Mule Maven plugin for deploying our application to the cloud hub. It required a lot of configuration. When you are configuring a Mule Maven plugin, it required a lot of configuration. In case of Anypoint CLI, you simply use the deploy command with number of workers, worker size, and all those things, and it will quick a single line command will automatically deploy your application to cloud hub, on-premise, runtime manager, where any target, whatever target you require. Apart from that, let's consider where Anypoint CLI is useful. So basically, what you can do, you can write all your script in batch, in Windows batch or as a shell script, okay, using Anypoint CLI command, and you can simply that call that shell file or that batch script into the Jenkins or any other DevOps or CI/CD pipeline tool. So it's very simple. So I will going to show you that in demonstration, and you will realize like it is very fast also. Like it do the deployment very quickly. It doesn't take too much of time. It does a deployment in minutes and seconds. I will show you that. Any question on this? Apart from that, where Anypoint CLI can be useful, like if you want to download any API matrices, API statistics, application matrices, application statistic, and you can integrate with any third party. So where Anypoint CLI can download the data and send it to third party, any other thing. So that is where the Anypoint CLI is very important. Now the first step, how we can set up a Anypoint CLI. The step one, you need to download and install Node.js. You can go to Google and just search for Node.js. Depending on your operating system, you can take the version of that Node.js and you can install on your laptop. For Windows 64-bit, you can install Node.js 64-bit. Then you have to run this command. Once you have downloaded the Node.js and installed the Node.js, you have to run this command npm install -g Anypoint CLI latest. It's very simple command. You have to run on your command prompt. I will not going to run that because I've already installed that. So in this, once you execute this command, what will happen? I will tell you. It will download the Anypoint CLI package and what is the location of that Anypoint CLI package. So you can go to, let me search users, and the users, under users, I think it's app data, then roaming, npm. You can see it download all the required modules, Anypoint CLI modules and everything. So Anypoint CLI, everything, like it download all the required modules on your local machine to execute Anypoint CLI command. It's very, you have to do simple, just download and install Node.js. So I can show you. So you can Google it and just say Node.js download. It just, you don't have to set any environmental variable, nothing. You just simply have to download and install it. So there are various versions like Windows installer, MSI, Zip. So you can take MSI 64-bit or 32-bit, depend. You can take that. So just run that MSI in case of Windows. In case of Mac OS, you have a PKG, Linux binaries, whatever. So you can download depending on your operating system and just install it. You don't have to set up any environmental variable, anything. That's it. You just download it. And the secondly, as I mentioned, you have to run this command to download the Anypoint CLI latest package, the image of the Anypoint CLI on your local. Once you have done that, so basically you need to configure some authentication. Either you can use Anypoint username and the password with the required access, client ID and the client secret, and bearer token. So there are three approaches. I will explain you this in detail. So let me go to next slide. I will make it to presenting mode. So now what we have to do, we have to do some setup. So there's a two approach. Either you can create, there's a file, like there is a .anypoint file, dot credential file, a credential file at this particular location, c/user/username, and you create .anypoint folder. Under .anypoint folder, you can create the credential file. So default, you can have a multiple profiles like connected app profile, other profile, and the default profile. Generally, I use the default profile where I can give my Anypoint platform username and the password. I provide organization, I provide environment. Host is not compulsory. In case if you are host in Europe, right, eu.anypointplatform.com, you can provide that host. The second approach, you can set up this 4 environmental variable, Anypoint underscore username. So provide the Anypoint platform username password, then environment. Environment is production and your organization. So you can do that. Let me show you. So I have done both approaches. So I can go to users, Jitendra, and .anypoint. You have to create .anypoint folder. Under that, you have to create this credentials file. Let me open this. So here you can you can pass username. I generally don't pass the password. So you can give the password from command prompt also. And either if you want to set any other profile, you can set it. Okay. But this is not that simple approach. The simple approach will be like this. You can go to your environmental variable.
Jackie,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt. There is a question. So you want to take now or will take at the end?
Yeah, no, I can take it now.
Yeah.
So
there is a question from Abhishek. You can see in the chart. I think he installed and he was getting somewhere. I just pushed there.
Okay, Abhishek, you see that demo, I did that today, downloaded Node.js, installed in my machine. When I executed the command, it give as $ as not recognized. So why I think I don't think we have to give dollar at any place while executing the command. So Abhishek, let's see, once I will give some demo to you, right? You will come to know like how to execute the command. Okay, so yeah, you are right, Chino. Like dollar in Windows, we don't give any dollar or anything. So, but Abhishek, you just see the demo, and you will come to know how to execute a commands. Okay, so you will come to know you are wrong. You are executing the command wrongly. You cannot use the dollar in Windows.
Okay. I think maybe when you show the demo, that will give the clarification, Jackie. I think we could
Yeah.
continue. Yes.
So now let me explain how can you set up a second approach which is easier, like so you can set up this 4 parameter in your environments. Okay, so for that what I have to do, you have to, in Windows you have to go to advanced settings. In Linux you have it have its own environment, so you can set up there. So you can go to environmental variable. I have set up any or env password and the username, that's it. Okay, so this is how you can set up like 4 variables, basically 4 environmental variable. This is the simpler approach. Okay, now let me go to cmd. First command I will run anypoint cli. So this is the command to start your anypoint cli. Okay, so it trying to connect to anypoint platform using supply. So it will read the username and the password from your environmental variable. It connected to Capgemini production. This is my business group, no sorry, my organization, and this is my environment which I have set up everything in my environment variable. So now it will start interactive cell, basically like command prompt in the interactive mode, basically. Okay, so this is the first command to start your anypoint CLI. Let me go to next slide. Apart from that, like if you want to deploy your, like there are various commands, so where you can find the anypoint CLI command. If you see, if you go to this particular site, anypoint CLI 3.x, you know and you can go to list of commands. So in list of command you will find lot of commands here. So basically if I want commands related to my runtime manager, I can click it here. So you can find commands for everything. If I want to have a detail of this particular command, you can click here. You can get the detail of this particular command. So what are the parameters, what are things you need to pass it. So this is a site where you can find all the commands related to your anypoint CLI. Okay, so let me go to present mode. So I will show this demo. So basically, like I want to deploy my application. So for deploying application, you can use the command called runtime mgr cloud hub application deploy. So this is the command. Under that you can pass how many workers, what is the worker size, where you want to deploy the application, whether you want to enable the object store version 1, what is your runtime version, what is the application name, where is your jar file located. All these kind of things you can perform, you can pass with a single command. You don't have to do anything in your Mule Maven plugin. Also, you don't have to take care about your Mule Maven plugin in your pom.xml. So Mule Maven plugin is nothing. It is basically used to deploy your application to cloud of runtime fabric, on premise. But using anypoint CLI, you just have to give a simple command where you have to pass certain parameters like workers, worker size, region. That's it. Now the second, if you want, once your application is deployed, so if you want to get the describe, like basically you want to get the information about your application, like how many workers assigned to application, what is the status of your application, and other parameter. So simply there is a command called runtime -mgr cloud hub application describe. You can describe that and pass the application name. Okay, and the other thing, like if you want to download your application logs. Okay, so you have a command called download logs, basically. So where you have to provide the application name and the directory name. Okay, let me show you some demo on this. Okay, so I have few commands in my, so let me go to my desktop and examples, not this one, sorry. So this is my demo one. I can edit it. Okay, so I have an application deployed to my cloud hub. This is the world time zone API proxy application, and I want the information about this application. So what I can do, I can just execute this command. So it will give me the information in this tabular format, basically. A domain, what is status, when last updated, what is mule runtime, what is the jar file name, region, is persistent queue is enabled, okay, static IP is enabled, monitoring, all those things. Now my question, like if I want this information in JSON format, I can simply say minus or hyphen o JSON. So I will get this information in the JSON format also. So basically you can get by default, it will give the output in the tabular format. But if you want output in the JSON format, you simply say minus o JSON. Okay. Let me execute a second command. So my second command, I will restart later. My second command, I want to download the logs. Okay. So how can I do that? So basically this is the command. So runtime manager cloud of application download logs, and this command. So simply I can execute here again. Let me do CLS. That's fine. So it will download the log. So it downloaded the log at which place? User Jitter desktop, it downloaded the logs here basically. Okay. It downloaded the logs in the zip format. You can see the logs. All the logs has been downloaded. So basically it is sometime it is very useful. I will give you one example. Like we talk about like we have to move the log to Splunk or whatever, like so like or we want to move the log to some S3 storage, or like to some data glacier, or like to the some like some kind of thing. So there might be use cases that like some organization has to save the logs for 6-7 years. Like there are some banks where there is a legal compliance. So like there can be some fraud, or in banking what happens, like they have to keep the log for the longer time. So there can be any fraud from some IP addresses, or like from some destination, like in that case these logs are very useful. So like let's consider somebody has done the fraud today, and came to know after 6-7 months, like fraud is happened like 6 months earlier. In that case I want my log, right? I want to store my log somewhere so I can identify this is the IP address from some fraud happened, like that. So in that case we move these logs to the some glacier or data lake, for future like analysis or all those things. In this case, this particular Anypoint CLI utility is very important. Like you don't have to enable anything, you don't have to do anything on the cloud up. You simply write any job which will read the logs from cloud up and move it to some data glacier or anywhere else. So that's why where it's very important. Now the third command I will run to restart the application. So I have an application. So basically runtime cloud of application restart. Instead of restart, you can use start and stop for stopping and the stopping and starting the application. My third command is like stop the application, restart the application. Okay. So let me check what is happening there. It should try to restart. Yeah, you can see the application is restarting basically. Correct. So it's very quick also. If you see, like it's very quick also. It takes seconds, right? Then like I want it also work with Anypoint Exchange and Design Center. So basically I want to list what are the assets in my Anypoint Exchange. So you can use like exchange dot. So it will list down all the assets in your Anypoint Exchange basically. If you want, I think it will also give the output in JSON. If I put minus o JSON, yeah, you can get the output in JSON format also. Okay. Same thing, like if what are the RAML design projects in your design center, you can list down those also. If you do minus o JSON, it will give output in JSON format. So this is what you can do with Anypoint CLI. Before I move to next topic, do you have any question on this? We will see we will see one demo on how to create Anypoint cluster using Anypoint CLI. We will see some demonstration on those things also. Okay, so let's wait for like once I complete this.
Jackie, there is a question. We can
Yeah.
deploy from the RAM from the studio through CLI.
Yes. So can we deploy RAML file from Anypoint Studio through? No. You cannot. From Anypoint Studio, you cannot use the Anypoint CLI. Okay. Anypoint CLI can be used from the command prompt basically, Megesh. You cannot integrate your Anypoint CLI with Anypoint Studio. You cannot do that. It's altogether a different entity. Okay. Okay. Any other question? Okay, thanks. So I will move it to next, next topic. So we will discuss more on Anypoint CLI. So like I have some complete automation demo. We will go through that. So basically, like it will build the application. It will generate a jar. Then it will deploy. Then it will automatically apply a rate limiting policy, and then it will get the information of the application. So now I am talking about Anypoint Runtime Manager API. So what is Anypoint Runtime Manager API? So basically, it allow you to perform below list of operation via REST API. So basically, you can manage the servers. So so have you heard like what kind of servers? So have you heard about the control plane and the data plane? Right, so generally what happen, we have a on-premise server. So basically, let's consider you have a two on-premise server, and those server in the data plane. Once you register those server in Anypoint platform, that is known as a control plane. So basically, okay, so once you've registered the servers on the control plane, right, then you can use this Anypoint, or we can sometimes call this as a ARM APIs basically. So basically, it can manage the server. So basically, it can register the server, it can retrieve list of server, it can retrieve server information, modify server name, it can stop, start, and restart the server, it can renew the certificates on your server, it can retrieve a server registration token. Even it is capable of like managing a server group. Basically, it can create a server group, it can like retrieve list of the server group in your environment, it can retrieve the server group information. You can simply add or remove the servers in the server group. You can delete the server group. I will show all these things. Then apart from that, Anypoint Runtime Manager API is managed app deployment on the servers. So basically, it is capable of deploying and redeploying the application, retrieve application information, retrieve application status, modify server name, manage flow, scheduler alerts in the deployed application. Then it also manages the cluster. So similar, like whatever operation you can do with Anypoint CLI, you can perform those operations with Anypoint API also. ARM API, Cloud Hub API, all these operations can be performed by them also. Okay, let me show, like also manage cluster, it also create cluster, like it can add or remove cluster, like it can like delete the cluster, it can restart the cluster. All these kind of operations can be performed by Anypoint CLI basically. Okay, so let me go with this URL. Let me show you what are the things you can do. Then I will take the demo on this also. Let me show, this is the developer portal URL. Let me open this. So here you can find information about ARM REST API basically. So ARM REST API, as I mentioned, it is it can be used when you are registering your on-premise server into the control plane basically. Okay, so you need to keep in mind this thing. Like if you are not registering your server into the control plane, then you cannot use this APIs basically. Okay, so I mentioned like you can get the server information, like single server information. So there are various operations available. Okay, so like if you want to get the server information, so let's see, I will click on this get operation, and what is happening in this get operation. So this is my URL for getting the server information, and you have to pass X environment ID as your header parameter, X Anypoint organization ID. You have to pass a bearer token basically, authorization token, okay, to retrieve the server information. We will see that, we will see in few minutes basically, how we can do that. So just keep in mind, when you are accessing ARM API, you have to always pass environment ID and organization ID. How we can retrieve this, we will see it. Then you have to pass a authorization header, a bearer token. With bearer token, how we can generate bearer token, I will show you that also. Okay, so just stay with me basically, so I will show that also. So let me go to next slide before I move into, so as I mentioned, like for accessing ARM API, we need to generate a bearer token, right? We have to generate a authorization token basically. So basically, like MuleSoft provide a accounts login API where you can pass your username and the password of your Anypoint platform. It will return a access token to us. Okay, and that access token is nothing, it's of type bearer. Now, if you want, this is the first step. You have to call this particular REST API, generate the bearer token, and The second step, we will actually call an ERM REST API to retrieve. Let's consider I want to retrieve a server list which is registered in my control plane basically. In that case, you pass authorization header, X anypoint environment ID, X anypoint org ID. These are the three headers we need to pass: authorization, bearer, and the token which is generated in the step one. Okay, so let me show that. So let me go with some sequence diagram also. So the client first send the request to login API where like with username and the password. If username and the password is perfectly fine, it will return a bearer token back to the client. The client will extract a bearer token. So basically you can see this is my request body and this is my response body. The client will extract a bearer token. Now client will call ARM API. Okay, in ARM API, it will pass these three headers: authorization, X anypoint environment ID, X anypoint org ID, and if everything is validated, it will return back with the required detail. In case if anything is gone wrong, it will say 401 unauthorized, 500 internal server error, whatever, like depending on 400 bad request if data is not fine. So let me show you. So this is my anypoint runtime manager API. Yeah, this is my API. Login. So this is I'm first step we have to call a login API to generate a token, a bearer token. So as I mentioned, we pass body as this username and the password basically. Okay, so okay, username and password. Let me send a request. We got a access token back. Okay, I will copy this access token. And now I want to retrieve a server detail. Okay, so I want to retrieve a server detail. So I can go to header. In header, I mentioned I have to pass three headers: authorization with bearer token. So I will just replace this bearer token with the newly generated token. Then X anypoint environment ID, then X anypoint org ID. Now I will tell you how we can find it. So you go to anypoint platform, you go to access management. Okay, under access management, this is my organization and this is my organization ID. The finding environment ID is bit tricky. I think like most of the people will not able to do that, but I will tell you how we can do that. You have to do one trick to find that. So this is here you can generally we can see that environment ID in your URL. So what you have to do, just remove this two and just say enter. Okay, and just click on this production. You will find this your environment ID. Okay, so this is my environment ID. Okay, you can copy this environment ID. So okay, so now I'm passing my environment ID, anypoint org ID and authorization, and this is my URL. Just send the request. So you can see it return me a server detail. So basically, if you see, so I have two servers registered on my control plane. One with ID 587134 and one with 587192. You can see these are the two servers running. Server one and this is the server 2. So there are two mule runtime is already running. If you go to your control plane into the runtime manager, you can see both the servers. Okay, let me show that. Okay, if you see servers, so I have a two servers registered on my control plane, and you can see it is running here basically. You can see that both the servers are running here. So they are both mule runtime, and it fetch the two server information, and both the server on the same IP addresses. You can see that. Okay, it fetch all the information correctly. So these are the information it fetch. Now I want to use that, like again I want to restart my server. So if you go to ARM API, ARM, if you see in ARM there's a lot of API like creating the cluster, fetching the cluster information and all those things. So you can just explore explore all these API. The way of accessing API is like passing the header. It's same for each and every API. In case of ARM, just I will change this token. I Okay, now I want to restart so basically for restarting the server, what I have to do, there's a server and I have to give a server ID 587.129. So from where I get the server ID? So see, I've requested for the server detail. In that I got the ID, right? So I can use that ID. Okay, in my URI parameters, I can send the request. So I will send. You can see the server is restarting here. You can see on this command prompt, right? You can see something is happening on this command prompt, and even if you see on your, here it got disconnected, so it is restarting. So that is how you can, if you want to restart, if you want to get the status of your server, you can make use of this particular, APIs and all those things, this API. Apart from that, let me show you something else, like, what, see, these are all the operations we can perform using this ERM REST APIs. Any doubt on this ERM REST API? Any question? And even like if you want to test API, you can test it from here also, like, so simply what you can do, you select this URL, okay, and like let me do one thing. This is my server ID, or like, it requires server ID, it's action only. So I can copy this server ID. So you can directly do from developer portal also, and you want X environment ID, so you can go to head and X environment ID. Then like you can go to org ID. Okay. And you have to provide authorization header somewhere, so authorization bearer token. I can copy same bearer token. I think it have some validity of like 30 minutes or something like that, so I can use this. Send. So I got response here also, all the response, everything, it is restarting basically. You can see it will again, I think it will be again restarting. Okay, you can see that. Okay, so that is you can test it from here. Any question before I move to next topic? Yeah, it's I think 30 or 60 minutes. You are right, Rajesh. Okay, no question. Rajesh, anything, any question, from anyone? So before I move it to, other APIs.
I think Dhananjay mentioned the manage flow. So in fact, even I was not clear. So Dhananjay, can you just reframe that question? If you see in the chart, Jack.
Yeah, it's there. We can manage the flows and everything. You can see it here. We have a API for that. Okay. Dhananjay, manage flow. Oh, yeah, you can do that. Dhananjay, you can stop, you can start, you can disable your flows, everything. You can do that. So there's a API is available for that. Okay. Yeah, you can see that get patch. So basically there are operations available for that, for for performing various operation on your flows. Like if you want to stop your flows, if you want to start your flows, all those things can be done.
So just to say that Dhananjay, I think you asked the question, does it restart the application, right? Yes, there are the actions.
Yes, it will.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will move it to no, see, basically, currently ARM is basically used for on-premise. For like we will going to discuss for Cloud Hub also. For Cloud Hub, we have a Cloud Hub API. Okay, so basically, currently we have discussed about ARM API. That is Anypoint Runtime Manager API. Basically, so basically, what API we have discussed? Like sometime what happens? You have an on-premise server. Those get registered into your control plane. So for that, we are using the ARM services. Okay, we have a separate Cloud Hub API. Okay, for managing the Cloud Hub, we have a separate API Manager API for managing the API. We will discuss all those things. Okay, so now next we are going to API Manager API. Let me go to present mode. So API Manager API, basically what is that? So basically API Manager API enables you to, like apply the policy, to fetch the details about the policy, to remove the policy for the API, to manage the API lifecycle, to enable the alerts on your API instance. All those kind of things can be you can perform using Anypoint API Manager API. So basically these are the REST API. So basically it can manage the policy, it can manage the automated policy. So it can apply policy, it can retry policy details, it can update policy, it can remove policy. Then apart from that, for automated policy, it can apply automated policy, it can retrieve automated policy, update automated policy, remove automated policy. I know like there might be question on automated policy. What is automated policy? If you see in MuleSoft, there's a if you go to API manager, let me show that. Okay, so if you go to API manager, let's wait while yeah it's opening. So if you see in API manager, we have something called automated policy. So basically, when we add any policy to the automated policy, let's consider I apply any new policy to this automated policy, right? Let's consider I applied a client ID enforcement automated policy. In that case, what will happen whenever you deploy any new API, this policy will be automatically applicable to that particular APIs, no? That all the APIs which is deployed in the API manager. So whatever you are defining in the automated policy, that will be applicable to all the APIs deployed in the API manager. That is the meaning of the automated policy. So like generally where we use the automated policy, let's consider you have a IP blacklisting. So basically, I want to apply a IP blacklisting policy to my all the APIs in the organization. So I don't want to go and add to each and every API. I can define that policy in the automated policy. So what will happen? Even the existing API or any new API is getting added, that policy will be applicable to all the APIs. Okay. So other, it can also perform other operation like retrieve policies template, like retrieve, it can retrieve, create or remove the contracts, like it can retrieve, create or remove the alerts, it can retrieve, remove or create the API groups. So let me go to my API manager API and I will just show you what are the things we can do from the API manager API. So also we will see how we can apply a policy using this approach. So this is my API manager API. Okay, in this API manager API, you can see like you can apply the policy, you can apply the contract, you can fetch the details about the contract. Okay, like so there are various things, but we will work on this particular part because policy is important for us. So let's consider I will use the post method first. Okay, so what are the things we require? So if you see, I want to create a policy. This is the URL. So in this, we have a three parameter organization ID, which I've already shown you how we can fetch the organization ID. In previous case, we are passing organization ID as a header. In this API manager API, we pass organization ID as a URI parameter. Same thing goes with environment ID. And now there's a one new parameter, environment API ID. What is this? So when you deploy your API to API manager, if you see, I have deployed one of the API in my API manager, right? So this is dot API manager. So this is my API instance ID. It generates one API instance ID. You have to make use of this. So now what I have to do, I have to apply a rate limiting policy. Sorry, I will apply JWT validation policy. So there is no policy applied to my API, but I want to apply that programmatically or by REST API call. Okay, so let me go to JWT validation policy first. I will not apply, just showing you. So JWT basically is used to validate your OAuth token, basically, no? So JWT token. So these are the parameters we need to pass it. Okay. So let me go to API manager API. Let me copy this token again. I will going to use the same token for all our API call. So for API manager API also we have to pass this token. Okay. So I will give this Postman collection, like I will give to Rajesh, and Rajesh can provide this Postman collection in all these scripts to you. So I will just change this token. This is my token. Now you can see I'm passing my organization ID as a URI parameter, environment ID as a URI parameter, and API ID as a URI parameter. Let me check if my API ID is correct. I will not apply any policy for now because I want to apply the policy programmatically. Let's wait. It's taking it. Yeah, it's 292. It's correct. Okay, it's 292 only, right? Yeah, 292. So now for applying policy, I have to pass a various parameter. I have to pass some body, right? So this is the, so generally what happens when you have to pass some data to your policy, so these are the some fields which are required. So basically you pass a configuration data. This is the like predefined tag. Under configuration data you pass all your field. Then you have to pass a policy template ID and group ID. This is the MuleSoft policy. That's why we will give a MuleSoft group ID, which is this one. Then what is the version of policy you have to apply? Now the question is that how can I get this field name, which is a tedious task, right? No, it's not a tedious task. What you can do, you can go to Anypoint Exchange. Basically you can get all this field name, so nothing to worry about that. You can get what is the data type, what kind of data we can pass it under the configuration data. You can see, you can go to see, this is the MuleSoft organization ID which we have provided in this this particular group as a group ID. So now you can search for like JWT validation template. So you can see here yeah, we have something called API gateway JWT validation template. You can click on this. Okay, and I think I will be using 1.3. So let me check, not this one. I think we are at I don't have, I want to write policy. Not this one. Just give me a second. So basically there's a YAML file associated with, I cannot see for now. Let me check if I can get that. Just give me a second. Generally what happens, so if you click on this, you get that YAML file. So I will show you that. Just give me this. I think this template is wrong actually. So let give me a second. Not all type. I want to search for policy only. Okay, generally I don't know, like I have some issue. So generally what happens, so here what you have to do, like you will see something called download as a policy definition, right? So you can download that policy as a definition. It will download one YAML file. In that YAML file you will get all this field name, like all this, what is the signing key, what is this field name, what is this field name, like you will get everything there. Okay, so you can just verify that. Like currently I think I don't have access for that. It was there, like I don't know why I'm not seeing right now, but that is fine. Like, so basically what happens in your case, you will see download as a YAML file. You can download that YAML file. In that YAML file you will have all the fields name which are required for this particular this particular thing basically. So you can do like you can pass that field in the configuration data, like JWT origin, JWT expression, signing method, and all those things. Once you have done this and you just send the request, okay, it will give the response with 20 created. So you can see it successfully created a policy. So let me check if my policy has been applied or not. So let me go to my API manager again. Okay, so if you go to API manager, and this is my API. Also I can show you, like if you are not getting the name, so how can you get the name? I can show that also. Just give me a second. I want to show that file to you so you can understand like exactly what is going on, how can we get that field name. So I'm showing that to you. Yeah. So generally, like you have an option to download that YAML file from there. And let me show that. Yeah, this is the YAML file. If you see, I got this template ID from this particular YAML file. This is JWT validation, and apart from that, if you see, like, let me start comparing this. So I have something called like, JWT origin, JWT expression, signing method. All these things you will find it here, in this JWT origination, like signing method, what kind of signing method is, all these things available, like all this property name, like signing key length, this is the property name. JWT key origin, this is the property name. What are the things it support? So this is how you can create, like, this particular, you can pass this field into your configuration data. Okay, so yeah, let me see if policy has been created or not. If you go to policies, yeah, you can see the JWT policy has been created with all required parameters. Okay, it has been successfully created. Okay, now the second thing I want to, like, now I want to see whether, like, I want to retrieve a policy, associated with that particular API. So you can see, use the get method, and under that you can pass organization, environment, and your API ID. So go to header and change this token basically, and send. It will give the details of the policy which is, applied to that particular API. So there are many other operations you can perform using API manager API. So let me go to presentation again. Okay, so here again you have to generate a login bearer token, passing username and password like ARM API. It will give a token. Then, like, you have to pass that token into the header as a bearer token, and you have to pass this configuration data. In case of JWT, we pass JWT. Here we pass rate limit, all those things. So, as I mentioned, how can you get this configuration data using that YAML file? You can download from the policy. You can get this data. And once everything is created successfully, it will give the successful response 201 created. At a high level, like, a client will send the request to generate the bearer token. It will return the bearer token, the login API. It will extract bearer token. Then it will send the request to API manager API for creating the policy. A policy successfully created, it will say 201 policy created. In case of any authorization fail, it will give 401 back to us. Okay. I already shown the demo. So now we will talk about a Cloud Hub API. So MuleSoft also provide a Cloud Hub API, which is used to manage your runtime manager in the Cloud Hub. Basically, it can, like, start stop the application deployed on the Cloud Hub. Like, it can deploy or undeploy application on your Cloud Hub. It can manage static IP address. It can manage application schedules and flow. It can download a mule package file like jar files whenever if you require jar files, you can do that. Even it can retrieve stats for your application or worker. Apart from that, other function it can do, like, so basically, if you want to do the automation of your anypoint VPC and the VPN and dedicated load balancer, right, you can use the Cloud Hub API. So basically, Cloud Hub API is capable of, like, creating, updating, or deleting dedicated load balancer, VPN, and VPC. It can retrieve list of VPC, VPN, and DLB. It perform like DLB mapping, rules testing, create and delete VPN connections. Apart from that, it also manages the application alerts and notification. So basically, you can create out of box alert on, like, Cloud Hub. You can update the alerts, you can remove the alerts, like, you can retrieve the alerts history, you can create and update the retrieve notification. So here is the link for this particular Cloud Hub API. So you can go to Cloud Hub API developer portal. Okay, so here, this is the Cloud Hub API developer portal. So it will show what are the operations you can perform. Let me go, I want to fetch my application detail. You can go to get. Just we will see one method. So here, this is my application detail. Like, in this we require some query parameter, whether you want to retrieve stats, what is the period. You can read all these things, like if you want to include the stats for your application in the response, you can say true or false, like number of millisecond, like up to what time you want stats, all those. If you, what is your log level require, all these parameter you can pass it. Apart from that, in this you just have to pass the environment ID. You don't have to pass the organization ID here, and it support a authentic authorization mechanism as a basic. So we don't have to basic or OAuth, okay, but we will use basic only. So you just have to pass your AnyPoint username and the password, okay. And apart from that, it does a lot of operation. You can see it here, like application stop, start, deleting, like deleting application, managing the flow, managing the scheduler. You can disable, enable the scheduler, all those things can be done. Like, you can see the flow name. Basically, if you want to replay the flow, you can do that, so somebody asked me that question, so you can do that. You can manage VPC, VPN, dedicated load balancer. You can assign static IP address. You can ping the, and you can perform the ping for your applications and all those things using this, cloud up. Yeah, there are a lot of operations available. You can see, you can explore all these operations. So let me go to cloud hub API. So I want to retrieve our application information. So here I'm passing this few fields: retrieve stats, false period, interval count. And if you go to authorization, I've used the basic auth, and I'm just passing a username and the password. Here we don't have to call the login API. There's a no need. You can simply say send. Okay, it return everything, like, so it return all everything about your application, like, what is the platform IDs, apart from what is the status of your application, like how many worker type, all this information it is be written, like it is it using the static IP address, any persistent queues enabled, like all these things. So now in that case, if you want to fetch a worker detail for your application, so I want to fetch the worker detail for this world time zone proxy application, so I can like fetch that also. Okay, let me check. I think application name has some changes. Let me go to Wizard. Let me copy this name. Send it. So it will provide me like the worker detail. What is the IP of worker? What is status of your worker? Deployed region, is static IP enabled or not? If application on deployed on two worker, it will provide the both worker details. Okay. So this is what you can do from your Cloud Hub API. So let me go to in present mode. Okay. So now we will see some demonstration. So like what we'll do, like we will like use mix of your AnyPoint CLI and the like API manager API, both we will like we will merge both together, and we will do like this particular operation. We will build the application using the Maven. We will deploy the application to Cloud Hub using AnyPoint CLI. We will generate the bearer token by calling AnyPoint platform login API. We will fetch the application detail. Okay, so we will apply the policy first using AnyPoint CLI. Okay, it's not any. We will apply using any we will not deploy the policy using AnyPoint CLI. Let me correct this. It's API manager API. So we will deploy, like we will apply the policy using API manager API. We will fetch the policy details using API manager API, and we will fetch the application detail. This is the first demo. Okay, so basically what we will do, we will build the application using Maven. Okay, we will deploy the application to Cloud Hub. Then we will apply the policy on that application, enable the API auto discovery. Once it's done, it will fetch the policy detail, then it will fetch the application detail. So this is the automation we will going to do. Then the second automation, where we will fetch the server detail, then we will create a cluster. Okay, and like then we will fetch the cluster details. This is the second automation. I am not sure, like the third automation will not run because my VPC and VPN is currently disabled. So I will show the script how, like we will create a VPC using runtime manager API using AnyPoint CLI. Then we will associate the environment with VPC using AnyPoint CLI. We will remove the default firewall rule using AnyPoint CLI, add new firewall rules using Anypoint CLI, create dedicated load balancer within the VPC, add dedicated load balancer mapping rules with Anypoint CLI, fetch VPC information, fetch DLB information. So these are the things we will going to do. Okay. So let me go with a first demonstration. Let me show you script first before I move into demonstration. So let me explain the script. How can you write a script? So I think it's demo 5, I think. Not, it's demo 4. Yeah, so this is the script. So I write a shell script. Let me open with Notepad++. So basically, first step, it will build the application. Okay. So mvn clean, mvn install, then it will deploy application. We are using the Anypoint CLI runtime manager cloud up application deploy. We are saying number of worker size, where you want to deploy application, object store. Then we are passing two property. We can pass the multiple property also, anypoint.platform.client ID, which is the environment client ID, and the anypoint.platform client secret, environment client secret. This is required for enabling the API auto discovery. Then we are giving the application name. Then we are giving the location from where you have to pick the jar file. The second, we have to call Anypoint platform login API. So now we want to generate a token, right? So for generating a token, we have to call Anypoint login API. So I'm using the utility called CURL. So CURL is nothing. It's a command line utility for sending the HTTP request and to get the response. So I'm saying CURL header content type application JSON. Then I'm posting the data on this login URL where I'm passing this as my body, where username and the password. And also I'm using some JQ utility. So there is some utility called JQ. So basically I will get some JSON and I will just want to read a access token. So from that JSON, JQ is basically used to parse your JSON. So you can use in your shell script a JQ dot access token, and I will store this access token in this particular token. Then I'm applying the rate limiting policy to the APIs basically, So basically I want to apply a rate limiting policy to the API. Let me check whether this particular, I think this name has, this ID has been changed. So let me go to my API manager. I want to make sure like ID is perfectly fine, Otherwise it will not work. So this is my API, which is unregistered for now. And let me check. Yeah, ID change. I told you like something got changed in my ID. So let me update this ID. Otherwise, it will not able to find the ID. So here I'm passing the rate limiting that configuration data which we have done for JWT validation. All those things. I'm passing this particular payload. Then finally we are fetching the policy detail using again that an API manager API, and then finally we are fetching application detail using Anypoint CLI. So this is the script we will going to run. Okay, so let me save this script and let me open a Git bash. And this is my script here. And I can say /deploy. So I just said deploy application.hes. So enter. So it start building your MuleSoft application. This is the first step. Any question till application is deploying? Any question? Rajesh, anybody have any question?
No, Jackie, as of now. I think still follow. So maybe we can take up the questions at the end.
Yeah. So just 10 more minutes, Rajesh. So I will be winding up.
Yes. Yes.
So in same way, you can write your shell script and you can integrate with Jenkins or any CI/CD tool, basically. So So now it start deploying your application. So it will upload your application, then it will deploy it. Yeah, it start deploying the application. If you see, this particular application doesn't have any policy attached. No policy is attached. Once everything is successful, it will attach the policy. Okay. So generally deployment takes some time actually. Okay, so let's wait while it's deploying the application. Because deploying not take time, but it's uploading a jar file. It's around 70-80 MB, which takes some time basically, you know.
But in general, Jackie, so meanwhile, I think it's taking time. Guys, if you have any questions, please put it in the chat. So we can take up if anything is there. Okay. Is there any disadvantage in it? Dr. Jackie?
Disadvantage in the sense, disadvantage in the sense like, let me read the question. No, like there is a no disadvantage. So like they have even if you see MuleSoft, right? MuleSoft have their Anypoint platform. So like their GUI is also itself using this like Cloud Hub API, everything like, you know, all these things. So it's not there is, I don't think there's any disadvantage of using this Anypoint CLI. I think it's much faster and much better, you know, way of, yeah. You can see the application has been deployed successfully. So now it's applying the policy. The policy has been applied successfully. It's fetching the policy details, and now it's fetching the application information. Yeah, I will answer your question. Like as such, there is a no disadvantage. Like, you know, see everybody, like if you see every tool or everything is come up with some pros and cons. But as far I cannot see anything for now. Actually, it's like. See, you can easily use few commands and you can do all complete automation. Even if you want to develop your own monitoring tool or anything, you can make use of Anypoint CLI or this APIs. Even if you see a MuleSoft Anypoint platform, so MuleSoft Anypoint platform is also using all this API to perform like start, stop operation, like even, you know, to build their GUI also. So yeah, so it is recommended by MuleSoft also, like you can use this Anypoint CLI and all this API which is provided by MuleSoft basically. Okay, so you can see the application has been successfully deployed, and if I refresh it, you will see the rate limiting policy might be applied to this. It's refreshing. You can see the rate limiting policies has been applied. Now if I go to runtime manager, you will see the application will be there. You can see the application is there, you know, it's already there. Now second thing what I will do, I will try to create a cluster. So as I told you, like we have a 2 server and I want to add this 2 server into the cluster. So I have a other demo. So it's in demo 3. Let me edit this script. This is simple script. So basically what I'm doing, I'm again using this login API to get the token, and like I'm fetching the server detail using that server API. So like, you know, where I'm passing the environment ID, Anypoint org ID. Then I'm using the cluster API. Basically, I told you like we can create a cluster using the Anypoint API. So there's a cluster API, and this is the again ARM API. So under that, I'm just passing a token, environment ID, org ID, and like this payload basically. I will tell you there's one problem with like in MuleSoft this developer portal, like there's one issue. So I can tell you. So just keep in mind, like I faced this issue a lot of time. Okay. So what is that issue? If you see in this payload, this ID is wrong. This it's a server ID. So you instead of ID, you have to mention a server ID. You keep this in this thing in the mind, because I have done that. Okay. I will show in my script. So what I have done in the payload, I'm passing this as a server ID instead of ID. The ID doesn't work. So it will ask the server ID is not passed basically. So make sure you pass this as a server ID. This is the one bug, actually that is the bug. So you have to pass this as a server ID. Okay. So let me run this script. Let me go cd dot dot cd demo 3. Let me copy the path better. And now I'm creating a cluster. Okay, so if you see, it has created the cluster successfully. I got the success response. Okay, so let me go back to my endpoint. Yeah, you can see the cluster is created, and it is trying. If you see this, both server might be starting, initializing, like, see, once you create the server, both the server is trying to initialize. So you can see that. So your control plane start communicating with your data plane, like once we create the cluster, and it will automatically restart. So you can see the cluster has been created, and like server 1 and server 2 basically. So this is the API you can use, which is one, yeah, where you can pass name of the cluster, whether it's a multicast enabled or it's a unicast, and the server. As I mentioned, this particular attribute is wrong. It's a server ID. Okay, keep this thing in the mind, because when you may face issue like, it's very difficult to identify what is this attribute name. So just keep in mind it's a server ID. And my last demo, I will just show the script, because my endpoint, otherwise I may show like how we can set up a platform in the seconds, like in the minutes, using this particular thing. So let me show at least I will show you through the scripts. And it's a complete, and somebody asked me like, what is the disadvantage? Like, you will come to know, like, there are a lot of advantages only, So this is my VPC and DLB setup script. If you see, I can create AnyPoint VPC using AnyPoint CLI cloud of VPC create command. I can pass VPC name, region, and what is the CIDR mask. Then I can associate the environment with the VPC. Again, you can say cloud of VPC environments, add VPC name, and the basically environment. Then you can remove the unwanted firewall rules like this. Then you can add the new firewall rule. So I want to add some firewall rule to VPC. You can add this, and like you can create that. Once VPC is created, you can create a dedicated load balancer. You have to pass like what is the VPC, what is dedicated load balancer, where is your certificates located, all those things, like you can pass that. You can add additional mapping rules using this mapping add command. You can describe the VPC, you can describe load balancer basically. Okay, so this is what you can do with AnyPoint CLI, like cloud hub API, API manager API, and like AnyPoint runtime manager API. Okay, so yeah, so Rajesh, yeah, this is all about AnyPoint VPC VPN and dedicated load balancer and like all these CLIs functionality.
Great, Jockey. So thanks for that, Jockey. So Jitendra has covered the AnyPoint CLI, what you can do from the command line prompt, and the APIs with respect to the ARM and the cloud hub, where you interact with the on-premise servers, even the cloud hub, their iPaaS platform. So it's very good. I think thanks, Jockey. You spent a lot of time preparing for the specific demo content and all. Thanks for your effort. And just to
And Rajesh, Rajesh, I will share everything with you, so you can share with all these participants. Like they
Sure.
will, at least they will go through the script, and they will get some idea like exactly how we can do the automation using the script. Yeah.
Sure, Jitendra. Yes, yes. I think that will be benefit to all the members here. I'm hoping that it will be a good session. They got some knowledge at the end of the session. Second thing, just add to that, Ashok, you told there is a disadvantages, right? Yeah. See, this is basically the API, right? For integrating with your applications programmatically to interact with the things. So as Jackie told, even the cloud up, the GUI, everything was interacted through API. And I have seen in production for most of the clients for API monetization or building this log analytics and all, there are some limitations because anypoint platform is not like a logging tool, right? It's not meant for the monitoring or logging tool. Even though nowadays they established with their respect to the logging one, still a lot of people in the projects have seen that integrating with the third party monetization tools, there these APIs are going to useful. Otherwise, it's like a hell, you end up doing the screen scraping, which will be like a very bad process. So the API makes very important nowadays as part of this distillation and all. So this cloud API, cloud up API is very good to interact with all your anypan platform components. And as Jitendra told, most of the things whatever you do from the GUI, most of the things whatever you do from the GUI, all are supported as part of the API. Yeah, I think that's very good session, Jackie. Yeah. Is there any more
Thank you, Rajesh.
questions? Yes, Anurag, unfortunately, this baby platform will not allow to the speech to attendees. So that is one thing I could see. Yes, yes, but is there any questions so that Jackie can take before he run away from the demo? If not, I will move into the interesting session, the interesting part, which will be the trivia one. So I'll move it that if there is no more questions. Good. Looks like no more questions. Then we'll jump into the quiz part. Yeah. As I mentioned, this trivia quiz. So the winner, who are going to get this winner will get the training come certification voucher. You can choose whichever the certification or training you want from the MuleSoft training portal. Okay, from their educational portal. Second thing, I will slide up the and which has a multiple choices, four answers. You just whichever you feel is the correct one. Just type the answer in the chart, please. So I'll take the first right answer as a correct one. Okay. Just for my reference before putting the question, I'll just have some reference for my end. Okay, looks like I got one question, Jackie. Okay, before going to the this quiz, we'll just address this question, Jackie. What is the difference between the runtime alert and APM alert?
Give the answer to that. So basically, like runtime alert is basically the once you deploy the application into the cloud, right? So like for like deploy to the cloud or on some worker, basically, if something is going wrong with that application, like high is for that particular application, right? And like let's consider like if CPU usage is high, your memory is out of exception, like worker is not responding. In that case, we use like runtime manager API. Let's consider if your cluster disconnected, if server got removed from your cluster, if server is not responding, if cluster is not responding, if server group is not responding, in that case we use the runtime alert API, which API alert. I will come to that. Let's consider generally like either on API manager you create API proxy or you enable API auto discovery for your application. So generally the request first come to the API gateway or API manager, right? So after that it actually goes to the application. In that case, what happens? So basically you can set up some alert on the API manager also, like how many requests came, like if requests exceeded like like more than, like if request failed more than 100, then there should be alert. Like if response count, basically you send the request, you got the request from client, you send the request to the application, and application will send the response back to the API gateway. In that case, like if you have second, like I should get the response in 3 seconds, if you are getting the response in 5 seconds, you can generate the alert. So such kind of alerts can be taken by APIM. Apart from that, like if any policy is getting violated, you can mention. If somebody try to send invalid credential for continuously for 4 or 5 times, then it should generate the alert. Those kind of alerts can be generated from API manager. Okay, Rahul?
Rahul, is it clear? Okay, good. Thanks, Jackie. Okay, then I'm just moving to the first question as part of the quiz. What are the two headers required to pass for accessing the Endpoint Runtime Manager APIs? So hope you guys are got the answer. I'll just move to the chart. Please just Mahesh, just say A, B, C, something like that. I'll go to the
Rajesh, you are
presentation
not
again.
sharing your screen, I think.
Sorry?
You are not sharing your screen.
No, I'm sharing screen.
How come? I cannot see it.
I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. Looks like I lost it again. Now you're able to see, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. So I'm just moving to the question again. So this is the first question. What are the two headers required to pass for accessing the ARM APIs? You type the answer A, B, C, or D, whichever you feel is the correct one.
So, Rajesh, answer, I think we got enough answer. The answer is B actually. X Anypoint environment ID and the org ID. So we have a Sai, KR is the first who gave this answer. It's B, right?
Sai KR. Okay. Good. Sai, can you just ping your email ID, please, in the chat? Finding difficulty to copy this thing. Wait. Fine. I'll take it later. It's fine. Okay. Then I'll just move it to the second question. Which is not correct environment variable used by the CLI? Just type the option whichever you feel is relevant in the chart.
I think we got the answer, Rajesh. It's
Hmm.
Akshay Jujare. I think it's D, Anypoint Group.
Okay. So can I consider the first correct answer is the Akshay Jogajare?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Congrats, Akshay. And I'll take the size mail it also before I skip that. I think I'm facing issue with my keyboard suddenly. Wait, some keyboard issue suddenly. Sai Gopal Krishna. Okay. Guys, just a heads up. So, what are the email IDs you are giving, right? So, make sure that you are sharing the correct email ID. Correct email ID in the sense which you are registered as part of your training account. The reason is now you guys know that, right? The MuleSoft is stopped giving the vouchers. Instead of that, whatever the training you requested or training a certification you requested, they will be directly assigned to your training account. So make sure you are giving the correct email ID. If you do inspect, thanks. Yeah, no, Mahesh, I told right. Somehow the laptop was not responding. It was hanging. Keep on. Not sure. So then I just do that. Thanks. Now I am moving to the third question. What is true about AnyPoint API Manager API?
Yeah, we got the answer. It's Madhava Indukuri. It's A.
Okay. Yeah. Congrats, Madhva. Can you ping your email ID? Yeah. It is I, right? Good. Congrats. Congrats, Madhava, Sai, and Akshay. Very good. And yeah, so I will share you the separate email with these three people. So you'll get an email on choosing the training and which are the certification you want. So probably you'll get that email in 1 or 2 days. So post the training, post this meetup, guys. So we'll see you there. Congrats. And just as the closing ahead. So even if you are interested to be a part of the speaker or this thing at the next meetup, you can contact this as part of this. You can contact me, or you can contact. Just go to the page, meetup page, and you can contact me as part of that organizer. You can contact me. Second thing is, at the end of this event, you will be getting the email just to submit the feedback. So go ahead and please fill the feedback, because that will helpful a lot to suggest which is missing and which one better. Second thing is, if you are interested in any specific topics, like I'm interested in some particular cloud of API or runtime fabric or service mesh or any point exchange, whichever, what are the topic you feel that which will be very useful and which you think that will need it, something like a unit or DevOps, which you see as part of your projects. So whichever the topic, if you see, maybe you can, as part of the feedback, you just submit, so that we, based on the voting and based on the most number of choosing the topic, we'll try to, at least I'll, from my end, I'll try to get it as part of the next meetup. We'll try to arrange the topic. Okay. Yep. So that's the end of the note. Thanks everyone for joining the call, and thanks to Jockey for the wonderful session.
Thank you, Rajesh.
If nothing, then we can close the session, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye
Okay.
bye.
Thanks,
Have
I.
a nice
See you
weekend.
in the
Bye
next
bye.
meetup.